Welcome to Alton, Illinois. Illinois entered the Union as a free state in 1818. But despite that fact, slavery and indentured servitude was tolerated until our second Constitution was written in 1848. So that means places like this had to be established in order to fight against slavery. I'm standing in front of the old Rock House. It is in this very spot that the first ever anti-slavery society in Illinois was founded. And you can also bet that this spot was used as a hub via the Underground Railroad. And speaking of history, let me show you something else. The Underground Railroad was a combination of people's homes and businesses and warehouses, and they all were used together to move people from the south to the north where they would be free. The CHENEY Mansion is one of those homes. And so while it's absolutely beautiful to look at, it also has a very important history. Take this cart, for instance. Under this cart formerly was a trap door, and that trap door was used to send food down to the Americans who were hiding from chattel slavery in a dungeon. I'm standing here in Alton, Illinois, which is the location of the last debate between the little giant and what would become the great emancipator. Abraham Lincoln believed that slavery was an abomination to our nation and we should get rid of it. He would become U.S. president, and in 1862, he would enact the Emancipation Proclamation, ending chattel slavery for Americans all across this nation. But in order to end chattel slavery, we needed to add an amendment to the Constitution. I'm standing in front of the home of Lyman Trumbull. He is the author of the 13th Amendment, which freed African Americans from the bondage of chattel slavery. Some of the most amazing people on earth have called Illinois home. Generals, presidents, politicians, reverends, you name it. But few have left the impact that the great Elijah Lovejoy has left on the state. He was an abolitionist and a journalist who first came to St. Louis, but was forced to move on the other side of the mighty Mississippi River due to his anti-slavery sentiment. He was one of the very first abolitionists in this country. His inspiration continued on for generations to follow as Illinois became the home of the suffrage movement, and the pictures out of Chicago started the modern civil rights era. This is the Hamilton School. It is the first school in this country to allow free African Americans to be educated, and it's the first integrated school in not only the state, but in America. It just goes to show the importance of education to our state. When you come visit this site, you will find that it's a little off the beaten path, but that's okay. Education often finds itself rooted in the path, not always the easiest. But come check out what else I got to show you.
Next on Discover Illinois with Dilla.